the most underrated country in Latin America, and why you should consider moving right here to this beautiful country located in the heart of South America. Today I'm joined here by Betha. She is a Paraguayan. I am an immigrant here in Paraguay, also known as a foreigner. And today we're going to be discussing two different perspectives. Your perspective, which is the Paraguayan perspective, and also my perspective, which is the foreigner's perspective, right? Let's start out talking about one of the most important things, why Paraguay is a very underrated country, which I believe has to do with the tax situation here. As you know, Paraguay is one of the few countries, right, where foreign sourced income is not taxed. There's no tax. What's your take on that as a Paraguayan?
Well, I mean, it's kind of complex topic, I guess, because if you come here as a foreigner, you don't pay any taxes, but there are some things that you'll have to get used to it for not putting that income, I guess. For example, the public transportation is not that good, but that's not something that you would expect not paying. And like, we barely pay taxes. So as a foreigner and earning like another income, like from abroad, you wouldn't expect either, I guess, a good public transportation or a good public education, I guess. So that would be a main issue. And it's something that you have to get used to it and just accept that, I guess, the public system is a little bit slow, like the government issues and things like that. It takes a time, but I guess it's also something that you can get used to it.
Yeah, I think that's good. And you have lived here your entire life, right?
Yeah, born and brought here.
Good. Now, for someone who recently immigrated to Paraguay, I see it as a trade-off. You know, you pay no taxes on foreign sourced income. Local income is taxed, capped at 10%. If you compare to the US, a country that has very progressive income tax rates, the highest bracket is 37%, but you also have a standard deduction of, I think now about 13, 14,000. Infrastructure in the US is still better than here. So I think that's an undeniable fact. But on the other hand, you're not paying a lot of taxes here. You pay less in taxes, but at the same time, like you said, in terms of infrastructure and, for instance, like health services, right, you get less value. I think
right.
I think that's a fact. So if you come here, and oftentimes people come here with the mindset that they're going to get the same they used to get back home, and that's not true, right? So you pay less, but you also get less, and so you have to kind of abandon your northern mindset, because you are paying high taxes back home. Wherever you're watching the video from, the US, Canada, Europe, Australia, you're probably paying very high taxes, and not just personal income taxes. You're paying corporate taxes, you're paying value-added taxes, inheritance taxes maybe, or capital gains taxes even, right? Whereas in Paraguay, there's no inheritance tax, right? And as a non-resident in Paraguay, if you make an income or if you have an investment, you pay a higher tax rate than a resident or a citizen of Paraguay who has the investment here. So I think from this point of view, it's a home run. It's a great place to live in, because if you're smart about being here, investing here, making money here, living here, and you can accept that there is a trade-off. If you can accept that, I think you're going to be living a very good life here.
Yeah, it's something that it's good to know beforehand, so you don't come thinking like, oh my gosh, it's going to be like just back home that you're going to get everything. But if it's something that you don't have really a problem with it, it's a great trade-off.
Let's talk about the cost of living. That's an interesting fact from a foreigner's perspective, and I will be addressing this in a moment here. But talk to me about the cost of living here. Is Paraguay expensive for you personally?
I mean, it depends. Earning like in guaraníes, that's the Paraguayan money, and then spending it in guaraníes as well. It can be a little bit of a struggle if you don't know how to manage, but earning in dollars or euros, it's a really good investment coming here, because the money, it's just, you take a lot more for the same amount. I guess, an apartment here, it's like 300, 400 a month in a really nice place, like with a really great view, modern, new. It's amazing. That I know that in some countries like United States, 300, 400, it's not that much. But here it's really a lot. So yeah, I guess it's a really good option.
Here in Paraguay, you can rent, like you said, it depends on the area, of course, right? But 300 to 400 a month gets you a nice studio apartment here in Villa Mora, Recoleta. In California, for $300 to $400, you can't even rent, I don't know, like nothing. So here you can have that kind of like lifestyle for a lot less. But that's the foreigner's perspective, right? For people who are watching this video, if you are from the US, Canada, Australia, Western Europe, or the UK, I mean, you're probably paying a lot in rent. In Europe, to be fair, there's still a lot of countries that have a relatively reasonable housing market, especially in Eastern Europe. It's a lot cheaper to rent, but you might not want to live there because it's too cold for the majority of the year. Like 9 months, 10 months, it's just too cold. But do you think that Paraguay is becoming unaffordable for Paraguayans, or do you think that Paraguayans working a local job, and most importantly, Paraguayans getting paid in Paraguayan guarani, are still able to afford a middle-class lifestyle or not?
I think it really depends because, as I think any place, there are different zones, I guess, here. You have the most expensive places, but then the middle places, which are more affordable, are really nice as well. So it just depends on the lifestyle, I guess. If you're really aiming super high and your job's not paying you that much, it's going to be kind of hard. But it's going to be like anywhere. But yeah, I think so far we're really good with that. Even if things are like getting a little bit expensive for some Paraguayans, it's still something affordable after all.
Ideally, you want to be working for a foreign corporation.
Yeah.
So you can earn your money in foreign currency, right?
Yeah.
Dollars, pounds, euros,
That's
whatever.
the dream. You earn a certain amount of money and you can just really have the value of it here.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, you've lived here your whole life, not just the past 2 years,
No.
like me. Well, for me, it's been, yeah. So what do you think the future of Paraguay holds? Like, there are a lot of changes happening here. The median age is increasing in Paraguay just as it is increasing anywhere in the world, right? People are having fewer babies. The median age is going up. Most importantly, we need more stuff just to be middle class than we used to 50 years ago. Everyone wants to own a car, you know? Everyone wants to have an iPhone, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be eating out a lot. You know, all of this really eats into the budget. What do you predict for the future for Paraguayans to be? Do you see Paraguay becoming less family oriented? Because there's a lot of Western influence here. I mean, technically Paraguay is the West anyway, but I'm talking about like more like Northern Hemisphere influence. Do you see this as being a problem? Do you see this as being positive? What's your take?
I don't think so, because even as like the country is like getting bigger, I guess, and there are more investments and like more people are just like getting more focused on their jobs than creating families, I guess, worldwide. Like that's not a news flash. It's just how it is nowadays. Like having a family is not the main thing for many of people. I feel like even though that's going on here in Paraguay, we're still really family oriented. Like I have my uncles and my aunts, for example, that yeah, they're focused on their jobs and whatever, but they know that someday they're gonna have their family because they're so used to being with their own family here. Like there's no Sunday that we can go without going like getting together with our family. So I don't see how that's gonna change. Even if the jobs get more serious and I don't know, things get more expensive as time goes by, family still is like the priority here.
So you don't see that there's going to be, I should call it probably a conflict of interest between the modern work culture and the intrinsic Paraguayan family values. You don't think there is a conflict of interest there. You think that Paraguayans are going to be able to juggle these two balls simultaneously and not have to sacrifice one for the other.
I think so, because if you analyze the family perspective, like this, like the saying goes, you need what's it called? It takes a village to raise a family. It's like that here. Like even if the mom sometimes goes to her job or whatever, the grandma's always present or the aunts or whatever. So that family value still grows even if the job becomes important. Mm-hmm. So it's not something that's, I don't see it happening anytime soon here in Paraguay, at least because the family is a priority and everyone grows like that. Even if they like their job, it's something that you just have it.
Absolutely. Now, the final point we wanted to touch on is getting residency here. Why it is a good country to get residency versus other Latin American countries, or even countries in different geographic locations. Now, as somebody who holds residency in multiple countries, I think one of the most important components for me personally is that Paraguayan residency comes with civil and property rights. So you can kind of compare, it's kind of similar. You moving to the US, the US is the strongest at it, and then probably Europe, and then Latin America, and then comes the rest of the pack. So I think by moving from, say, North America to Paraguay, or even Europe to Paraguay, you can retain a lot of these civil and property rights better than if you were to move to Asia, or if you were to move to, I don't know, the Middle East or Africa, right? So you still have a lot more rights here than you do in a lot of other countries, right? So it's not just about the residency, but the underlying benefits that come with Paraguayan residency, right? And talking about the simplicity with which you can obtain residency here. For instance, a lot of countries require the purchase of a property to get residency. So you have to buy land, you have to buy an apartment. In some cases, you have to incorporate a business, you have to work for your own company, or you have to find a company that you can work for. In Paraguay's case, nothing. So it's one of the easiest countries to immigrate to and get residency without super deep involvement, economically speaking. So I think that that's a huge benefit. And then, like I said, just talking about the civil and property rights that come with it, a very important topic that I don't really see people discussing a lot is the topic of firearm ownership. And I know that Paraguayans have like mixed opinions about that. There are some that love firearms, others don't. For people from the US, Canada, and even parts of Europe, that's a very important thing, And you can get this right to own a firearm once you become a permanent resident here. On temporary residency, you cannot own a firearm legally, but once you get permanent residency, you can. Fantastic. So why should people come here? Like, tell me from the Paraguayan's perspective, why Paraguay and not another country? What makes Paraguay unique? Why Paraguay?
So my favorite thing about Paraguay is the people, I guess. Even if it's not your family, you just go around your day and everyone greets you with a smile and you just feel like part of a community. So I think that's a really important thing, especially nowadays with everything going on in the world. It's important to feel as part of something and just feel seen and like that you have, like, I don't know, this good place that you like. Even if it's just walking down the street and a stranger smiles at you, it's like that small grain that makes your day better, I guess. So I would say that. And the food. Oh gosh, I love the food.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your insights, Betha.
Thank you for having me here.
No, absolutely. I look forward to shooting more videos with you soon. Thank you so much. And we see you guys in the next video.